At the beginning of the story, we see a young girl, Simone, running to deliver her paper. She runs straight to her friends. Simone is talking to them when her father, Frederick, comes running. Frederick tells his friends to get away as quickly as possible. Frederick starts to drive his daughter away, telling them that a poisonous rain is about to fall. Frederick drives his car rapidly forward. Meanwhile, dark clouds cover the entire city. Frederick is taking his entire family to a bunker far away to escape the poisonous rain. Frederick tells his son to buckle his seatbelt, but his attention is distracted, causing his car to collide with another car, and the entire road is jammed with vehicles. Frederick asks a man to move his car away, but the road ahead is completely blocked. So, he takes his family and leaves, and they all run straight into the forest. A man stops them from behind, but they don't listen and, heads straight for the bunker and quickly reach it. There, Frederick quickly opens the bunker with his fingerprint, and everyone enters. As they enter, the first drop of rain falls from the sky onto a leaf, and a heavy downpour begins. Once inside the bunker, Frederick thoroughly sanitizes his family to protect them from the toxic rain. Then, Frederick hands his wife, Ellen, a device and tells her that it contains all the information about the bunker. Then, Frederick puts on a suit and gets ready to leave. Before leaving, Frederick tells his daughter, Simone, that he must go out at all costs because only he can stop this toxic rain, and if it isn't stopped, no one will survive. But Simone refuses to let her go any further. But Frederick tells her, I promise I'll be back. He tells her to take care of her brother and leaves. As soon as he leaves, Simone checks her mobile phone. Her friends are also in trouble, as their parents have also been killed by the poisonous rain. Seeing this, she becomes terrified. Meanwhile, Ellen is making chocolate for the children, but her face and trembling hands clearly indicate that she is growing increasingly afraid. Suddenly, someone starts banging on the bunker's door. Ellen refuses, telling them that if it were her father, he would have left his fingerprint on the door. So she tells them to ignore the sound. But Simone tells her mother, we should see, who knows, it might be our father. So she rushes over and opens the bunker door, and standing in front of her is the same man who was preventing them from entering the forest earlier. The man, completely drenched in the rain and infected, grabs Simone's brother and pulls him out. But then Ellen runs over and jumps on the man, killing him. Meanwhile, she begins to suffer from the toxic rain. She tells them both to get inside quickly. So Simone immediately closes the bunker door. Seeing her mother die, she breaks down in tears because she's no longer with them. Then Simone calls her father, but he's not answering her calls, meaning he's in danger too. Afterward, she puts her brother to sleep for the night. The next day, Simone's brother looks at the same device his father gave his mother. When Simone looks at it, she finds a map of many more bunkers, meaning there are more like it in this forest. And here we learn that Frederick, was a scientist, and his company, Apollo, built all these bunkers because Frederick knew in advance that a toxic rain would soon fall, causing everyone to die in agony. That's why he brought his family inside the bunker immediately. Seeing this, she quickly sends a signal to the other bunkers for help. But unfortunately, she doesn't receive any signal from there. Then an idea comes to her mind, and she starts searching for a radio in the bunker. Luckily, she finds one and quickly shouts for help. But there's no signal there either. Seeing this, she asks her brother to raise the radio antenna. Luckily, the signal comes in, and Simone immediately speaks to a boy named Flip, in another bunker. But before she can speak further, the signal is cut off. This brings tears to her brother's eyes. But at night, she hears Flip's voice again on the radio. She was talking to him, but unfortunately, the signal is cut off once again. Days and months pass like this, and we are shown 6 years later. Ross is grown up and is tired of waiting for his dad. So he gets very angry at Simone. So Simone gets into a deep thought and decides to get out of the bunker. So while Ross is sleeping, she closes the door to his room. And wearing a suit to protect herself from the virus, she opens the door to the bunker after 6 years. And as soon as that door explodes, when she opens the door and comes out, she hears her mother's screams everywhere. But she gathers herself and continues walking, reaching the city. As she arrives, she sees a sign pointing ahead, which is 2,500 meters away. Simone follows the sign and enters a building where she sees only piles of corpses everywhere. Just then, a dog spots her and suddenly starts chasing her. She runs and hides in a room. The next morning, Rasmus wakes up and comes to her. Simone tells him that she left the bunker last night and there are piles of corpses everywhere and no one is left alive. Hearing this, Rasmus becomes a little nervous. So he tells her that tomorrow morning, they will both leave and head for the other bunker. But at night, the air vents suddenly become blocked and the oxygen in the bunker, music, begins to run low, causing Simone to faint. Ras immediately drags her out of the bunker, and upon their arrival, they're caught by some men who had blocked the bunker's air vents, which is why the oxygen supply had run out. They had seen Simone music when she went out that night. They take them back inside the bunker and lock them in a room. They search for food, but all the food has run out. So their leader, Martin, tells them to leave them alone to rot music, and then everyone starts to leave. But then Simone calls out to him and tells him that she knows of more such bunkers. But only she knows their location, and that there's plenty of food in those bunkers. Hearing this, Martin becomes thoughtful and includes them in his group. They then move on, exhausted, and rest at a place. Here, Martin tells Simon, "Perhaps we are the only ones left in this world because the entire world outside has been devastated by the poisonous rain, and the survivors are killing each other because all the food is running out. So I came there to find food, and I was forced to capture you." The scene then cuts to Martin, who is a soldier. He was ordered to kill a woman who had been infected by the rain. But seeing the child in the woman's hand, Martin is unable to shoot her. Because of the infected woman, all his comrades are infected with the virus, and they are killed, along with the woman. However, he escapes at the scene. The scene then returns to the present, where they are all moving towards other bunkers. But then Martin spots some hunters' music. He immediately hides. The hunters fly their drone and suddenly spot a girl running music. They chase after her to catch her. Taking advantage of this, Martin tells everyone to leave, but Simone refuses, saying, "We need to. The girl's life must be saved." So, reluctantly, they all rush to her rescue. A little further on, they find her trapped in the dirty rainwater, which has now become infected. Martin shoots her on the spot, and they continue on. A little further on, they reach a building. As they arrive, they see piles of dead bodies everywhere. Once inside, they all begin to lock the windows and doors tightly to prevent any attacks from outside. Fortunately, they find clean drinking water in the building, so they decide to spend the night there. In the morning, they resume their journey, and just a short distance later, Ras's foot sinks in the poisonous rainwater. When Martin realizes this, he tells everyone to stay away, as he too is about to become infected. Just then, Martin is about to shoot him. Simone appears and tells him not to fire, not wanting to lose her brother. But when a girl named Beatrice checks his shoes, they find they're waterproof and the water didn't touch his feet at all, so he's safe. They all move forward again, and a little further on, they find another bunker. Simone quickly uses her fingerprint to unlock the door. Once inside, they find a large supply of food, enough to feed them after many days. Simone finds a mobile phone, where she finds a video from Frederick's boss. In it, his boss is asking him to come to Sweden in an emergency. He also tells him that he's the only one who can stop this toxic rain. Simone shows the video to Martin, saying, "My dad must be in Sweden." She tells Martin that they should go to Sweden today. But Martin flatly refuses, saying, "I don't think anyone's alive there." Beck. Her friends arrive and ask about Simone and Rasmus. Martin tells them they've left for Sweden to look for their father. Hearing this, they leave Martin alone and go looking for them. A little further on, they find Simone and her brother Ras. Martin and Patrick are the only ones left in the bunker, and Martin is furious. The friends move on again and eat their fill in a building. Just as they're eating, the hunters arrive. Seeing them, they all run away. But while running, Simone gets separated from the others. While searching for them, she comes to a spot where she sees a child standing there. But then she sees dark clouds gathering in the sky. So she takes the child and runs away. The child starts taking pills to satisfy his hunger. Music, but then Simone gives him some food. Just then, the child's father arrives and, mistaking Simone for a hunter, takes his child and leaves. Music, as soon as he emerges, the hunters surround him and beat him terribly. Music, Simone panics and runs away. But as she runs, a man spots her from behind. Music, as Simone enters a building, she finds her friends there. She tells them to run. But just then, the same man who saw Simone running Music arrives. He asks them for food, but they have no food. So, the man grabs Rasmus and is about to kill him. Just then, Martin arrives and points a gun at him. Music, terrified, the man stabs him and runs away, leaving Rasmus in agony. So Simone tells Martin that there's another bunker nearby. They must get there quickly. They somehow manage to take Rasmus and run towards the bunker. They quickly reach the bunker and immediately bandage Rasmus's wound. Martin shows Simone a device with a map of the entire city. Martin tells her that the wall on this map definitely doesn't contain the virus because it was built by the government to prevent people infected with the virus from crossing to the other side. If we reach this place, we might be able to survive. Meanwhile, Ras's wound is slowly worsening. Seeing this, Simone tells Martin that they need a doctor, otherwise Rasmus's condition will worsen. Martin agrees, and there, her friend, Sungit, points Simone to a place and tells her that she can go inside through that route. But the hunters are also present there. They can catch you at any moment. But Simone had no other way to save her brother. So she moves forward. But, music, a drone starts chasing her from above. She quickly escapes and sneaks inside a building. Meanwhile, the hunters arrive, music, and hold her at gunpoint. But then Simone's friends arrive and kill them. Martin asks him about the wall, but he flatly denies it, music. Meanwhile, a boy named Jean sees a snake tattoo on the hunter's arm. Seeing this, music, he is filled with a strange fear and immediately tells Martin to kill them all. So Martin reloads his gun, music, and kills them on the spot. They take Ras from there and move towards the same doctor. As they move forward, Jean suddenly thinks of that tattoo. With this, the scene goes into a flashback, music, where Jean was staying in a house. There were 3 people there, a little girl and her mother and father. Because Jean's mother and father had died from the virus, music. So, he found shelter in a house. One day, while Jean was working in the house, music, a car of hunters came there and he saw the girl. The father goes outside to look, and the hunters ask him something, Sungit, but he refuses further, and when he doesn't tell them, they shoot him on the spot. Meanwhile, Jean, watching them through a hole, sees the same man with the snake tattoo on his hand, Sungit. Seeing this, Jean tightly seals the girl's mouth so that the hunters don't hear her. Meanwhile, the hunters also capture the girl's mother and take her away. As they leave, Jean removes his hand from the girl's Sungit mouth. But when he looks back, the girl has already died. Seeing this, Jean Sungit is completely devastated. The scene then returns to the present, where they all arrive at a place, Sungit. There, using a drone, they locate the doctor's house, and after finding it, they reach the doctor's house. Then they knock on the door. The doctor comes out and points a gun at them. But somehow Simone calms him down, and Martin explains everything on the spot, saying they desperately need her help. So she agrees to help and stitches up Dr. Ras's wound. Meanwhile, she tells him that Rasmus's wound hasn't fully healed yet, so they need to give him a tetanus injection. She tells them that for the injection, they'll have to go to a bunker near her house. So, the 3 of them head towards the bunker, and as they arrive, Simone sees the same bunker that belonged to her father's company, Apollo. The doctor tells her that she also worked at Apollo, and that's why she was given this same bunker. Once inside, she prepares an injection for Dr. Simone and ties her to a bed. Then, she pushes Dr. Simone out and ties her up with a rope. She tells him that her entire family died because of her father, Frederick. Even her children were killed by that rain. The doctor tells her that if her father hadn't done that experiment, the poisonous rain wouldn't have happened, and her children and family would still be alive today. Meanwhile, the other friends are searching for food at the doctor's house. Just then, Martin looks outside and sees the hunters have arrived. Jean looks around and sees the same hunter standing outside with a snake tattoo on his arm. The sight of him, music, shocks him. So, he picks up a gun and goes out to kill the hunter, music, on the spot. But then the hunters come and catch him. Seeing this, the other children and friends run away. She is about to inject the poisonous injection into Dr. Rass. Then Patrick comes there and shoots him, and on the spot everyone escapes from there and starts their journey again. And after going a little further, they see a house in the distance, music inside which the light was on, meaning someone is living there, so they come near it, but then a man comes in front of them. He allows them to spend the night inside his house. Music, but they have to keep their weapons outside. So despite not wanting to, they go inside that house. As soon as they come inside, there are many people wearing similar clothes in front of them, seeing which they feel something strange there, music. They give them a room to spend the night in which they complete their sleep, and in the morning a woman Karen there asks them to have breakfast, music, and after many days, today they have their stomach. They eat their fill. But the surprising thing is, music, where did these people get so much food from? Later, inside the house, Simone brings Raises to a doctor, music, as his wound is slowly worsening. The doctor pulls out an injection that looks exactly like the one the doctor, who wanted to kill him, had. Seeing this, Simone refuses and tells him to treat Raises, music, without anesthetizing him. So the doctor puts the injection aside, and when the doctor's attention turns to Raises, Simone sneaks one of the injections onto the spot. She quickly begins to examine the injections, and upon checking, she discovers that they were injections from the Apollo company, music. That night, everyone was eating dinner. Meanwhile, Martin was secretly searching the house, music. Then he opens a refrigerator and finds a human body hanging in front of him, music. The sight of it sends the ground tumbling beneath his feet. The man hands each of his friends a small packet and tells them that if anyone finds a small flower in their packet, they will have to sacrifice their lives, music. Meaning, we're going to cut it up to satisfy everyone's hunger. Hearing this, they are all shocked. They try to leave but are forced to sit down again. Just then, Martin arrives and punches the man in the face. Just then, the doctor holds him at gunpoint. The man asks everyone to open their packets. Everyone slowly begins to open theirs. But when Lena finally opens her packet, the flower emerges from within, music. Seeing it, she is stunned. They try to take her away. But then, the same woman, Karen, music, takes the flower from her hand and says, "I consider her my daughter. That's why I don't want this to be our food." She says, "I'm ready to give my life in Lee's place." Hearing this, Lee breaks down in tears, and the woman shakes his hand one last time and leaves. Music, they all get ready to leave. Then Simone asks the doctor about her father, Frederick. The doctor tells her, "Yes, I was Frederick's assistant, and both Frederick and I are responsible for the spread of this virus." Music, Simone sadly leaves. But then the man tells the doctor to leave his house. Everyone is moving through the forest. Just then, the same doctor arrives and shows an injection, saying that it was this injection, music, that caused the poisonous rain and destroyed everything. He then stabs himself in the throat, causing him to writhe in agony, but Martin shoots him dead on the spot. They spend the night inside an empty house, and in the morning, Martin shows Simon the map showing the wall. He tells him that they must reach it by any means necessary, otherwise it will be difficult to escape. So Martin tells everyone to go across the wall. Music, but Rossos refuses, saying, "I can't go because I'm not feeling well right now." But Simone, unwilling to leave her brother alone, asks someone to stay with him. Music, but disagrees. Then, the four of them set off. A little further on, they find another bunker. Once inside, they see some paintings, suggesting a family was living there. Luckily, they find plenty of food there as well. Meanwhile, Patrick finds a tablet with some recorded videos. Music. When Patrick gives Simone the tablet, he learns that his dad, Frederick, was behind the toxic rain. He feels terrible about it. He immediately leaves the bunker. But it's too late, as the toxic rain has already begun outside. So, he decides to spend the night in the bunker again. Music they do. Simone and Patrick are talking when Patrick tells her that no one cares about me. Even Martin keeps telling me things. So, music, he suddenly gets up and walks into the poisonous rain. Simone tries to stop him, but he pushes her down into the rain, and she, too, is completely drenched. Just then, Martin comes with his music gun. He's about to shoot him. Just then, Leah appears in front of him and tries to stop him from shooting. Martin flatly refuses. So Leah goes into the rain with him. But then, he sees that the rain isn't affecting them at all. He lowers his gun and sends him back into the bunker. Meanwhile, Ras and Beatrice are sitting music when a drop of rain falls on Beatrice, shocking her. She cries there because she too is about to be infected. But Ras reassures her that a single drop doesn't cause anything. Don't worry, she says. So she spends the entire night in fear. Martin then discovers that Simone didn't go out into the rain on her own, but rather that Patrick had deliberately pushed her. He becomes furious and tells her to get out of the bunker. In the morning, when Rasmus wakes up and sees Beatrice, the ground beneath his feet slips away because Beatrice is dead. Martin retorts, telling Patrick to pack up all his belongings and leave, because we don't need you anymore. So, Patrick leaves that very day crying. Patrick goes straight to the house where Ras had been staying. When he arrives, he sees Ras coming out with Beatrice's body. Seeing this, he runs away. He runs and falls. As soon as he stands up, someone throws a cloth over his head, and he is put in a car. Then he sees the same man who is the leader of the hunters who were desperately chasing him. The man asks about his other friends, asking where they are. But Patrick flatly refuses. So, music, he threatens him, saying, "If you don't tell us, I'll pull out all your teeth one by one." But Patrick still refuses. Hearing this, the man pulls out one of his teeth. So, he tells him everything about his friends, music. Meanwhile, Leah and the other friends are packing up their food. Simone asks Martin about Patrick's whereabouts. Martin tells him that he was kicked out of the bunker, and he's gone. Just then, there's a knock on the door. As Martin emerges, Ras is standing in front of him, holding Beatrice. Martin refuses to let him in, knowing that Ras has been infected along with Beatrice. Ras, however, ignores him and carries Beatrice back into the bunker. Ras is devastated to see Beatrice dead. Just then, Simon, dressed in a suit, approaches him and tells him that Beatrice is dead. So, you must leave her behind and come with us, he says. Music. But Ras flatly refuses, and in the meantime, he takes a radio and leaves. He's just about to leave when someone's voice comes on his radio. As he talks, the same hunter tells him how many people there are. "If you don't tell us, I'll kill your friend Patrick." So, reluctantly, he reveals his location, music. Meanwhile, Patrick tells the hunter that Ras was previously with an infected girl, but he himself hasn't been infected yet. Hearing this, the hunters are delighted that he's the only person who can help them. Meanwhile, Martin and Leah bury Beatrice's body in the forest. But then Simone arrives, showing a map, and music says that they must now find both Ras and Patrick because the hunters have captured them. She quickly flies the drone and makes a sound to distract one of the hunters. Music, the hunter follows the sound and reaches a location where his friends capture him. Martin speaks to his leader over the radio, saying, "I've captured one of your companions. If you want him alive, you'll have to return our companions." The next day, Simone asks the hunter to speak to Rasmat. He tells her, "I want to die alone." Hearing this, Simone asks the leader to meet her alone in the forest, and she arrives that day to meet him. The hunter tells her, "Your brother Ras is unaffected by the poisonous rain. So now I'm going to inject him with an injection that will tell us how to stop the poisonous rain." Meanwhile, Martin brings her companion there, and Simone asks for Rasmat in return. Music, so they send the hunter Ras back to them, and in a rage, Ras snatches the injection from Leah and injects himself, causing him to fall to the ground. Everyone is stunned by this, as they thought Rasmus was no longer with them. But then he regains consciousness and begins walking safely. Music, Simone is in disbelief, as the virus truly had no effect on Rass's body. Martin then goes straight to Patrick, apologizes for all his mistakes, and embraces him. All the friends are ready to head to Apollo Company. Then the same man caresses Rass's forehead and says, "Music, you are our last hope for saving us all." They then leave. Shortly after, they reach Apollo Company. Upon arriving, the hunter tells Simone and Rasmus to proceed. The others cannot go inside. They must stay in a bunker. They both walk a little further and see Frederick, Music, Simone's father.
She is shocked by this.
She is furious with her father because he promised to return, but years have passed and he hasn't. Suddenly, Rasmus collapses and falls unconscious. They quickly take him to the medical ward, and Frederick tells Simone to wait outside. As the friends enter the bunker, Leah finds Jean's jacket. As she walks further in search of him, Jean stands before her. Her joy knows no bounds. This means, Music, Jean was still alive because the hunters were actually from the Apollo Company. Meanwhile, Frederick brings Simone out of her ward to show Rass, Music. Simone wanted to go inside, but Music, Frederick stopped her and said, "There's nothing to worry about. I'm doing all this for you, Music, so that you can all be safe from this virus." Meanwhile, in the ward, a doctor wanted to take a sample of Rass's saliva, but Rass